2K, we make some really amazing video games, NBA, Borderlands, BioShock, great video games. I went back and forth a lot today on what am I going to talk about, right? At first, the engineer in me was like, this is going to be all technical. I'm going to tell you how to partition your clusters, how to scale them, how to make them cost efficient. I am not going to stop until everyone falls asleep here. That was my first intention. Then I was kind of like, there's so many YouTube videos and blogs that already talk about these things. What is that one unique thing that I could tell you, which is going to be very hard to find on YouTube? I thought I'll share with you one of the biggest learning in my career. You guys ready? Yeah. It's good. Ready? Putting your customers first. That's it? That's all the reaction I get? Like, what a boring cliche thing to say, right? Like putting your customers first. It's almost like right there with AI and microservices and Agile at some point. It's on every deck. Everyone talks about it. Some people understand what it is. Most people don't. Did I really spend all my career learning how to put my customers first when it's such a no-brainer? Everyone should know how to put their customers first. Even a little fruit stand guy will tell you that, hey, I'm selling bananas, but guess what? No one in my neighborhood wants to eat bananas. So I'm going to be selling mangoes today. Like, come on, it's a no-brainer, and this is what I spent all my career learning? What a bad career. If it's really such a no-brainer, if putting your customers first is really something that everyone knows, everyone's like, duh, why are so many businesses and products struggling so much with it? 99% of technology built today are completely useless. They're nice, they're sophisticated, they sound very fancy, but absolutely useless. They don't feel like an extension of the customer. Why is this happening? We know customers are important. We know we have to put them first because there's no business without putting them first. Then why are really smart people struggling so much with this? Because it's really hard. Putting your customers first means you have to understand them. Let's say I have this little fruit stand. Let's take that example because it's simple. In order for me to run a successful fruit stand, I have to at least have some basic conversation with my customers. Someone walking by in a non-creepy way, I have to have some kind of chit-chat with them that goes something like, hey, Bob, where do you work? You work in that tall building right there? Do you always go to work at 8 a.m.? What do you eat for breakfast? Bagels every day? That's not healthy for you. What about fruits? I've got some mangoes. I can bring them tomorrow. Do you want me to make some smoothies for you? I could just deliver it to your desk. This conversation is step 0 of me running a successful fruit stand. This conversation will tell me what I should be selling, how I should be pricing it, what is my 18-month roadmap, what's my 3 years roadmap. This conversation will tell me how to run my business. A few hundred people in a neighborhood, great, we can do this. What about millions of customers all over the globe? How do you get to know them on this personalized basis? It's really hard. Businesses get it wrong all the time because it's really hard. You have your big product that you're trying to sell. In my case, it's a video game. You almost need a little sidekick product, a little baby product that goes with this big product that will let you understand the customers who will be using this big product. These two products go hand in hand. One cannot survive without the other. But before I start going into millions of customers all around the globe, I want to first understand a little bit about this audience, right? I don't want to talk for the next 30 minutes, and I can already see some of you starting to doze off. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Any volunteers? Tell me your name. Tell me where you're from. Tell me something you like, something interesting, something embarrassing, preferably something embarrassing. And tell me something that you don't like. I can go first. My name is Sanju. I'm from San Francisco, California. I like bread and peanut butter. That's my go-to comfort food. And an embarrassing thing about me is I spend a lot of my weekends in my pajamas eating bread, peanut butter, and watching Emily in Paris, and really rooting for Gabrielle and Emily. It's really embarrassing to say out loud, but that's my guilty pleasure. Also, I'm kind of a claustrophobic, so I don't like places where there are a lot of people. Can we go around this room, just a few volunteers? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Should we?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Will. I'm from here in Austin, Texas. I like going to see live music. It's a good place to be for it. I can't think of anything embarrassing at the moment. Come back to me after everybody else goes on that one. What is something I don't like? I don't like when people don't put their shopping carts up. Just put it up, please, everyone. Was that all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Here you go.
Thank you for that. Any other volunteers? Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Yeah. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah. I'm Nick Blexford. I live and work here in Austin, Texas for Ernst & Young. Sure, okay. Nick Blexford, live and work in Austin here at Ernst & Young. And one embarrassing thing that happened this weekend, it was my 4-year-old's birthday, and I dressed up as Olaf from the movie Frozen and brought out her birthday cake to all of her friends, and she was really surprised and embarrassed as a 4-year-old. So that was good. I'm doing my dad duty. Other things that I don't like, the heat in Austin, it gets to you after a while. Not as bad as last year, but was a lot better this year. So I'm happy the fall is on the way, and look forward to hearing what you have to say about your
Thank you.
I love what you did.
Anyone else? Any other volunteers? Yeah, I think we've got.
Just one more.
We've got a couple.
Hi, Jeff, software dev. So I'm your stereotypical Texan. I grew up on a ranch. Things I don't like, I actually don't like coffee. I need to put so much milk and sugar in it. What's the point? And that's a good stopping point.
Thank you. I think we have. Yeah.
Sir, did you have your hand up? No? I'm sorry, I thought you did. Was there someone that had their hand up?
Yeah.
I didn't see. Okay, here you go.
Hi, I'm Daniel from San Diego. Something I like is sushi. Something that's embarrassing is my girlfriend and I have a cat, and we take our cats on walks in strollers.
Here we go.
Oh, is that too much?
Strollers, cats? Hello. Love it.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you so much for this. I still don't know a lot about my audience at this point, but at least I know something. At least I know a lot of you are still humans. You've got embarrassing things. It's not just me. That's a great starting point. I want to introduce you guys to someone. He's a customer of mine. He's kind of cool. You guys ready to meet him? His name is David. He is a gamer. He's kind of obsessed with gaming. As you can tell, he's holding his Xbox controller, sitting on his really comfy rock couch, and playing games all day. That's what he does. And judging by his personality, I think he's really into these open world games where you're conquering things and killing aliens. Also, I don't think he's really into these mobile games where you have to keep taking your credit card out and buying stuff. I don't see any pockets on his pants where he can comfortably store his credit card, so that could be it. At this point, I'm just making a bunch of assumptions about David. These are just a couple of lines about David, right? I want thousands and thousands of lines about David. I want to know what he likes at a really granular level. I want to know what he does not like. Who does he like playing with? Who does he not want to play with? What are his preferences? What are his patience level? And preferences change, right? Today, David's in Rome. Tomorrow, he could move to Texas and get really obsessed with cowboy hats. When that happens, I want to know about that. So what is a good technical architecture for this? An event streaming architecture really comes in handy, right? A simple, lightweight telemetry services, and right behind that is nice big Kafka cluster, either one big or multiple small Kafka clusters. And every time David logs in, I know about it. He's crushing aliens and feeling like a superhero. I'm the first to know about it. The aliens are starting to crush him. Now he's getting sad and depressed and bored. I know about it. So this will help me understand David on a real-time basis. And just like putting your customers first and AI, another really cliche, over-abused word is real-time. Of course, everything has to be real-time, but what does that actually mean? How much are you willing to spend for that? I get this question all the time. People ask me, Sanju, what is your SLA? How fast do you want these services to be? And I always tell them, my SLA is David's patience level. That's my SLA. What a great thing to put on your runbook, right? David could be a really patient man, and he could play a game that he does not like for 2 hours. Or he could be someone like me, a few minutes with the product, and he's like, I don't like this. I might probably never come back to it again. So David's patience level is our SLA. We have that little window of opportunity when David is playing our game, when David is interacting with our product, to give him a customized experience that will make him come back again, that will make him stay longer. But once we capture this data, before we start talking about technical challenges here, how will this data be useful? I can do a lot of things with this data. I can stop David from churning. David just died 2 times in the game. The aliens killed him. Now he's getting bored. Why don't we give him some free virtual currency in the game, free rewards? That will make him stick around longer. Who doesn't like free virtual currencies? David identifies himself as an expert gamer, but guess what? He's not. He's a beginner. I could pair him up with people of his own skill. But I can't tell him that. Without hurting his ego, without calling him a beginner, I have to come up with good matchmaking strategies. So he's always paired up with people who are somewhere in the same ballpark scale as he is. So he feels like he's doing something good in the game. He's not getting crushed all the time. And most importantly, marketing campaigns. How much do businesses spend on marketing campaigns? They spend tons and tons of money. But now, these campaigns are going to be more customized for David and people like David. As fancy as this sounds, this comes with a few technical challenges. The first important technical challenge here is real time. How do we need systems that will have super high level of performance, not just for capturing the data, but turning this data into an actionable intervention within the game for David. And all this needs to happen before David puts down his controller. Because the second the controller goes down, yes, we could run a bunch of campaigns, we can do some marketing, but we've lost our prime window of opportunity. There is a good chance once people put down their controller and walk away, they might never come back to that game again. I always say the gold is mixed in with the garbage when it comes to data. How do you isolate gold from garbage right at the source of capturing this data? How do you validate? We're going to get tons and tons of streaming data from the game. Now, we have to come up with good lightweight event processors that will sit right by our Kafka clusters, isolating the good from the bad, the data that will make sense, the data that needs to be fed into downstream systems, and then the data that will just end up on some reporting table, which I don't really need to spend a lot of time looking at it right now. And the other challenge we have is these lines right? I logged in, I crushed an opponent, I got bored. Even if I had 10,000 lines like this doesn't really make sense to me. It wouldn't make sense to business. What am I going to do with 10,000 lines about David? I want a David story. I want something that says, hey, this is his personality, this is what he likes, this is how I categorize him. I want to be able to bucketize David and people like David and figure out what's the right way to get that bucket more involved within my game. I want a customer model. I don't want a bunch of events. I want a model that makes sense. So that's another technical challenge that we have. Having lightweight data processors that sit right with our Kafka clusters, and they turn these little thousands of events into a story that makes sense. And the last piece of this is machine learning. I'm not going to go too much into machine learning. I'll save that for next Kafka Summit. But machine learning is almost like a cherry on top of this whole data cake. How do I model my customers? How do I figure out what is the right intervention, right activation for attacking a group of customers? All this can be enhanced by machine learning. And the last critical piece of this is this whole platform. It has a data capture, data validation, data processing, machine learning. The whole platform needs to be given to our customers, which is our business in this case. Our business needs to take and drive this in a self-serve manner, without any engineering intervention. When I say engineers, they're not just software engineers, also data engineers. Most of the effort goes into generating reports over and over, just too many reports. We don't need reports. Like we said, we don't have time to generate reports. David puts his controller and walks away. That's it, we've lost. We can look at our reports all we want, but we've lost our prime opportunity. So slapping on this whole data platform with a thin layer rules engine-based activation will offer business the flexibility that they need. I know who David is. I am able to categorize David into a specific bucket. And guess what? Based on that bucket, my big product, remember we started talking a big product and a little sidekick data product? My big product is built to be flexible enough to take input from my sidekick data product via rules, just simple, dumb rules, but very powerful. All these technical decisions, the architecture, everything, as fun and challenging as they sound, the goal here is very simple. The goal here is just happy David. He's really happy in this picture. You can't tell because he's not very expressive. Another thing I learned using his data. My vision, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, is if David's paying $20, $30 to play my game for 30 minutes, to interact with my product for 30 minutes, it has to freaking be the best 30 minutes of his life. That's how I measure my success as a technology leader, and that's what keeps me going. Thank you.